So now we're going to introduce another component. This is a rheostat, a type of potentiometer. It has three terminals. This one's marked red, and these two are black. And it has a coil of resistance wire. The black terminals are connected to each end of that resistance wire. So if you plugged into those two terminals, it would have the total resistance of all those coils of wire. In this case, it's 16 ohms. However, if I was to connect a terminal to here and one of the black terminals, it has a sliding bit along the top. So this contact is connected to that. So if I had a terminal here and one at the bottom, it is using half the length of the resistance wire. If I had it pushed at that end, it would have, and that used this terminal and that terminal, it would have very little of the resistance wire. Sorry, it would have a lot of the resistance wire, and if I used this terminal and that terminal, it would have very little resistance wire, it would have very low resistance. So we can use this to alter the amount of current in a circuit. We can plug in across two of those terminals. Let's turn it that way around so that I can have the ammeter so you can see it. I'm going to switch on. We're getting a little bit of current, half an amp. I'm going to move that along and we can see the bulb lights up. We're now getting 1.6 amps, which is what we got without the rheostat. I can move it down and reduce the current. And you can see the voltage increases as well. Now there is another way to use the rheostat. We could connect it across the power supply on the bottom terminals. And one side of the bulb. We're going to put the other side of the bulb through the ammeter to the top of the rheostat. And the other end of that resistance wire to the bottom end. And this way it again works as a dimmer type arrangement, and it is changing the voltage, and that's called a potential divider. It is affecting the voltage and therefore the current, rather than just acting as a resistor and changing the resistance and therefore the voltage.